Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to play Puzzle Rush Survival, and I will just explain what are my thoughts and how to solve those puzzles. And I really think most players can solve puzzles up to um, 2000 elo. Like it's not that hard. And I think first of all, tactical training is the most important thing at all. At least if you are below 2500 elo. If you are below 2500 elo on chess.com, on lead chess, in classical chess, over the board, whatever, if you are below 2500, and I think most most of you are going to be below 2500, the most important thing is to improve your tactical understanding. It's just the most important thing. It's more important than openings, than positional play, whatever. Especially in Blitz, and especially in online chess and faster time controls, it's the most important thing. Because when both sides get low on time, there are going to be a lot of blunders and a lot of tactical options to win the game. And if you can spot them better than your opponent, it doesn't really matter if he is a great positional player or if he has a good opening repertoire. Tactical understanding and pattern recognition is the most important thing. And you can have shitty openings, shitty positional understanding, and you can play at a level of 2000 elo or above if your tactical understanding is good. Obviously, you shouldn't just not train positional play and openings, but I think to train tactics and to do puzzles and maybe to watch someone like me do puzzles who tries to explain his thoughts is the most important thing at all for chess beginners and intermediate players. Okay, so we are going to start with this puzzle. I think it's pretty obvious. What can I do? Well, I have one rook left, and his first rank looks kind of weak, so I can just checkmate him. Same thing here. Same thing here. In this puzzle, you kind of have to understand that you can give this check, and his rook can't block because your queen is pinning the rook, but same motive. Once again, 4 times in a row. Well, okay, another time. Okay, this one is a little bit harder. Okay, first tip. If you are looking for tactics, always consider checks and always consider checking or taking first. So the first thing you could look for, or you should look for, are checks. And the second thing you should look for are captures. And then the third thing you should look for are threats. But in most beginner puzzles, you just have to look for checks and captures. So in this puzzle, I have a queen here and a rook, and here's his king on h1, and I only have one check, queen f1. His king looks kind of mated. His first rank is weak again, but he can take my queen with his rook. But then I can take his rook with my rook, and his king is mated. So I'm just going to do that. And once again, I have a couple of checks, but only one check that actually makes sense, because only on h7 my queen is protected by the rook. So I'm looking for checks. I found a check that makes sense because it just is checkmate, so I'm going to do that. And once again, looking for checks. I can give a check with the bishop, but then he can play king to h8. So maybe that's still possible, but I can have a look at other checks first. There is queen h7, for example, and queen h7 is checkmate because the queen is protected by the bishop, so checkmate. And once again, we are looking for checks. With this method, it's incredibly easy to spot tactics. You are so much faster. Always look for checks, then look for captures, and that's it. That's it. And then look for threats, but most of the time, I'm telling you, most of the time, you only have to look for checks or captures. In this one again, I could give a check on c2, but he could just take my knight. And I can give a check on d3, and he can't take my knight, and his king can't escape either, because he's smothered, so knight d3 is checkmate. And here, once again, I only have one check, it's on g7, so I'm just going to take that pawn. I'm doing it a little bit faster right now because all those puzzles are very easy still. But I think you get my point. We only have one check in the position, so I'm going to play queen to h4, and now we have checkmate already. In this position, we also only have one check, and that check just happens to be checkmate because his king can't escape. In this position, okay, maybe for this position you need a little longer or a little bit more time because it's kind of weird to spot. But you should also look for checks. Obviously, both these knights can check his king, but if the knight goes to g6, it can be captured by his bishop. And if this knight goes to d3 to give a check, it can be captured by his rook. This knight can only give a check on h5. And if you play knight to h5, you're giving a check. The knight can't be captured. And his king also can't escape to any of those squares. Because if you imagine the knight is here, this knight is blocking this square. This knight is blocking this square and this square. So the king, after knight to h5, has to go here. And that's a good thing, because then you have then you have some more checks. And after bishop takes g6, you can take back, and that's actually checkmate. So I think for every single puzzle we have done so far, we just had to look for checks, nothing else. This one, once again, only one check that makes sense. And if our queen is here, it's checking the king. It's blocking all of this squares. It's blocking all of this squares. It's blocking all of this squares. The king is just completely stuck and actually made it.
Okay, I really hope this has helped you and will help you with your tactical understanding and your pattern recognition. Just remember, always look for checks, then look for captures, and then look for threats. And I think if you do this, you can really improve your pattern recognition and find tactics more often. Yeah, hope this helped, and see you soon.